welcome to Frog Talk, and I'm introducing you to my friend Fins and Pins.
Hi, that's me. I'm Fins and Pins. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited. Episode 1? Is this episode 1?
This is episode 1.
That's so exciting. I get to be the first. I win. I did it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see everybody's collections, and I'm super excited to be like the one kicking it off. I'm very excited about showing off my stuff.
Well, I wanted you to kick it off because I think that your collection is pristine, and I love Little Mermaids. So I think this is going to be a very fun episode.
Love that. I'm so excited. Ooh, I pulled all of my stuff out to show you.
Start with Ariel because I think I brought it up.
Okay, specifically Ariel. This is just Ariel. No sidekicks, no partners, like just her. So it's a full board, and this isn't even all of just my Ariels. I couldn't fit anymore. You see how there's holes because I took stuff out to show people. I've always loved Ariel. I've always loved the concept of like being a mermaid. I did have like a doll set when I was a kid that was all the princesses, and this is like kind of weird, but I sold all of the dolls except for Ariel. So I still have Ariel to this day.
Oh,
She
wow.
sleeps with me in my room.
I love
I
that.
She's my baby. So yes, Ariel has just always been my favorite.
What was your first?
So my first, a little bit of a not safe for work warning, a little bit of one.
That's fine.
This will be fun. So I have my little corner of castles here. Those two in the bottom, the gold and the yellow one, that was my first Disney pin. The one on the right was actually the first one that I got. The very unfortunately obvious scrapper. I basically was in Magic Kingdom around my 16th birthday, which was 2018, and I had bought a bunch of Little Mermaid pins for a lanyard that I bought, but I didn't have, like, I've never heard of pin trading. So I was checking out buying one pin for my lanyard, and a cast member had that the right castle, sorry, the yellow one on the bottom, had that castle on their lanyard. And I was like, oh, I want that one. That's Little Mermaid's castle. Where do I buy it? And he's like, oh, that one's not for sale. That's what's called pin trading. And this is a cast exclusive because it's like a lanyard pin, right? A cast lanyard pin. So he's like, that's a cast exclusive. You have to trade for it. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, you can go buy any pin and you can trade for this one. And I went and bought actually, where's the one that I bought? Because I bought a rack pin, an Ariel $15 rack pin is what I put on this dude's lanyard for a scrapper. I didn't know any better, but that was for that scrapper. And that was my first trade ever. It wasn't my first pin. My first pin was the Ariel ride pin. So like the most common pin in the parks. That's my first pin I ever bought.
And a disclaimer for anyone that doesn't know what a scrapper is, could you explain that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So scrapper pins are pins that are a lot lower quality than what Disney had intended them to be. And those are ones that the company wanted the factory to get rid of, and the factory decided not to. So they resell them on a secondhand market on eBay, usually in like lots of 25, 50, 100, and it's like 50 cents a pin. And so that's like one of those really common ones you'll find in those bags. And that is slightly different than a fake pin, just meaning that like a fake pin is one that Disney never really authorized. Like someone didn't just like have the mold and remade the pin. They like tried to make it on their own, which happens a lot with the glittery portrait pins, the gold ones. Those ones were remade in a different size. So that is an authentic one of Ariel. And then I have another one on here that is a fake one. And that one is not very fun and not very pretty, but I have it anyway. So this is the real original version. And then there are scrappers of that as well. And then there are fakes of that. So just some different terminology. A lot of people interchange scrapper and fakes, but they are technically different.
And then what would you say is your favorite? Do you have a favorite pin? Because I know you have so many. And we
Don't
haven't
ask
even
me that
gone through all of
question.
them yet.
Oh my God, you're gonna ask me my favorite? Oh no.
Do you have a top 3 maybe?
I mean, I love my profile, you know? I've got my aerial profile. That one is probably my favorite. It's
Okay.
beautiful. A grail I never thought I'd achieve. The grails. I like the grails.
Do you remember the point when you decided that you wanted to turn your side hobby maybe into the business that you now have grown to nearly having over 4,000 followers? You have over 4,000 followers on Whatnot.
Over 4,000. Yeah, we almost hit 4.2 today in today's show, so that was exciting.
Oh my
Um
God.
I do. I think I actually do remember at least the moment for me where I was like, I want to start selling my pins, and that was COVID. In March, I think it was March 2020. Colorado kind of shut down. That's where I was living at the time. I did have a collection of pins, but Colorado kind of shut down. So I wasn't able to go anywhere. I did some online trading, I did some online purchasing, and that was around when the minis main attractions starting becoming a big thing for the online releases because I went in person and got all of my releases for that. And with the online release, you had to put in, it was kind of an RSP style thing. You had to put in the random selection to get the pin, and I knew I wanted to complete those sets, so I put in 100 applications for this. Not really. I think I put in five. And I got two of them. I got one for my collection, and then I got a second. And I was like, well, I don't need two of these. Like, I can sell one of them. So I put it up on an eBay for an auction. Yay the bay, you know. But I put it up on eBay for auction, and a person bid like $150 to get it, and I was like, I can sell pins. Like this is a thing. People buy pins. That's so exciting. So I was like, I could do that. Like I have other pins, so started posting some on Instagram for sale, and that kind of it took off from there. And my dad got to this point where he was like, you could do you want me to help you basically? And he
Mm.
started helping me with the finding pins for sale and, you know, organizing and pricing and getting all the stuff ready. And now we do it together. So it's very exciting.
We love Pin Dad. We really
We
do love
do.
Pin Dad. We stand Pin Dad in this house. In my house
Everybody
at
loves Pin
least.
Dad.
He
The House of
he
Pins and Pins loves Pin
definitely,
Dad too.
yeah, he like adds to such an aura of your show. I love it. You guys are a
Thank
great team.
you.
Are so you clearly have a lot of collections. Do you want to go over like how you categorized some of them?
I definitely can do that. Yes. So obviously we've got my boards. I've been kind of panning them as we've been talking a little bit. So I've got up there, that's the aerial only. This board here is the aerial sidekicks. So this is like each person has their corner. So this is the flounder, Sebastian, and then it kind of blends flounder and Sebastian. We've got Scuttle, and then that kind of blends with the Scuttle and Sebastian. We got Max, which blends with the Eric collection over there. And then Eric blends into Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam and Jetsam blends into Ursula. Ursula blends into Vanessa. And then we've got like obviously like some pins of Ursula with King Triton or like the sidekicks and stuff. And then we've got my little tiny King Triton section up here with my castles. So that's this board. This is the non Little Mermaid sets board. So this
Okay,
is
I love that.
right. So I loved the donuts. A lot of those are not real. I got them when I first started and I just kept them, whatever. Same with the popsicles. I love those kind of, characters as items. So I have a lot of that on here. You'll see a lot of that. So yeah, like my lounge flies, this is like my sets board. That's what I call this. This is my complete sets. Some are missing because they fell off. So like Sebastian fell off. He's on a random board. Thumper's actually on Damon's pin board now, so that's very fun. But my random sets, and then my Ariel with other characters. So that's Ariel and all her friends. So this one has to have Ariel and one other character for it to count. And there's lots. There's lots on here. So
And there's some pins that you have like multiples.
I do have the artist proof pre-production and regular version of the VHS tape. So that one was kind of cool to see like the colors they picked and how they changed it. And then sometimes they re-release pins in multiple years. So I've got these two. One was 2007, the other was 2008, I think. Let's check. How about that? But
Yeah.
so like that, I have more than one of, because it was different years, 2006. So they re-released it in 2 different years, and I have both versions of that one. And then here's my little fake version of the Ariel, because she's smaller, she's kind of muted in color, and I still liked her, so I kept her. But yeah, I've got a lot of multiples of pins, especially if it's artist proofs and pre-productions, because I want to have those. I want to have all the versions if I can. Doesn't always work, but I'm trying.
And is your main goal to be like Little Mermaid complete or like just Ariel complete?
Oh, I'd love to be Little Mermaid complete. I would absolutely adore having every Little Mermaid pin. That would be crazy. But this movie was, released before I was born, and pins have been around longer than I have, obviously. So, pins started even before pin trading. They existed in
Yeah.
like selling. So there's obviously a ton more Little Mermaid pins out there than I'll probably ever see. There's plenty of pins that like I've never seen before for Little Mermaid, and I'll see it for the first time and I'm like, I have to have it. But I don't even know how long it would take me to be complete, but I would love to have every Little Mermaid pin of every character. But even just Ariel complete, I feel like that would be fantastic.
That's still cool. I didn't know that you collected like your side collections of full sets. That is new news to me.
Yeah, my full sets. Oh, we didn't even get to like the individual cork boards of pins yet. Oh,
I'm
there's
ready.
a lot. You ready? Okay, let's go over to my pile of cork boards. How about that?
Okay,
They're
Puffles.
called Puffles. So this is my well, and there's the rest of them. This is my Club Penguin board. I collect Club Penguin because I used to play it a lot, and I still play it a lot because someone like stole the code from the game and remade it, and I play it all the time. I love this game. And the Puffles, those little puffball looking things, are some of the most commonly scrapped and fake pins, and I do mean both, in the world. You see all those colors? That's not what they should look like. These should all be, each row should be one color, and they're very clearly not. So I was lucky enough to get one on card Puffle. So these are all authentic on the original card they came on. It was a booster pack. So then you can kind of see like this is the red puffle, and really none of those look like that. Then there's the yellow puffle, and none of them look like that one. We got the green puffle, and none of them look like the green puffle. I got the blue, and then even worse, like look at these purple puffles next to each other. Like those are not right. Yeah, I love my puffles. I wanted every possible color puffle, so I had my dad trade for every puffle he saw for like a month straight. So now I have every color variation possible.
I
And
love
then
that.
these are the penguins. So there are penguins in different styles. I do have a couple more that aren't on this board. I haven't been able to organize very well. But I
And
have
those
like the
are all
headless.
Disney authentic. None of them are fantasy.
No, these are all authentic Disney pins. These are all
Wow.
made by Disney. It was a game owned by Disney. And they had a couple like mystery boxes that they made where these characters came from. And I, never got lucky enough to buy any of them, but I've gotten to trade for a couple. So I love this. I love this collection. I've got some others. My favorite one of the Puffle Club Penguins is definitely this one because she's a mermaid. And actually, if you look at my profile photo, my Fins and Pins profile photo, she is on the lanyard that I'm wearing.
So, what other collections would you consider are your main collections?
Oh, 1,000%. These over here. Wee. This is, I would say, my next major side collection is these two rides. These two beautiful rides. Carousel of Progress and Universe of Energy are two of my favorite attractions. Carousel of Progress still exists. It is an attraction. It is taking you through the life of a family and them going through the changes in technology. So that's like the big thing of the ride is,
Ooh.
how technology changed every, I guess, 100 years. It can't be a decade. That's 10. Every 100 years, I think. So, oh yeah, a century. So it takes you through every century and shows you how life changed. So there's a lot on here that I love. I got this one from Matthew Corso, actually, on card. Was shocking to me. Um, I love this one. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow graduation cap, which is the song of the ride. Um, which is another huge thing that I love about the ride is just that like if today is awful, there's always tomorrow, you know? And so I love that concept that like there is a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. And so that's like resonated with me my entire life. I don't have any tattoos, but I am getting a Carousel of Progress tattoo. When I finally get one, it is going to be Carousel of Progress. So, fun fact. Anyway,
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
thank you. Yeah. So then this is from when it was still in Disneyland. You know your guys' little theater, the little rotational building in
Yeah.
Tomorrowland? That's where it was. It was in Disneyland. So
Fun
that is where
fact.
that was. Yeah, fun fact, it was in Disneyland. And we got it years ago. Not recently. It's been here since I was a kid. I love the Mickey one. This one is I bought it in the parks. This was the first Carousel of Progress pin I ever bought. And this is, I believe, an artist proof. Let's check that. This one's a pre-production, actually. And then I do have an artist proof version of it as well. So I have three versions of this one. This one, there is 5 or 4 park pack pins of him in different outfits because he wears different outfits in each scene. So that one I'm still missing a couple of. I have one in my haul from last weekend's pin event that I haven't put up yet. But I love that.
ISO different
ISO, literally.
outfits.
And then again, I have an artist proof and a regular, the
And
Tiny
you would
Kingdoms.
say if you were to explain artist proof and pre-production in like the simplest terms you could.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. So artist proofs are technically it's the other way. So pre-production is first.
Okay.
Pre-production is when they're trying to figure out like what color they want to make the pin, what style they want to do. So that's where you'll have like some color testing or some like metal testing where they're trying to decide, do we want it to be a silver metal or a bronze metal? So that kind of stuff. And then that's where you'd have some differences. Artist proofs are the last kind of thing that they make, once they decide everything to make sure everything looks right before they make all of them. Um, and then there's the final product. So, like this one, I don't know if it is any different, but there could be like, this might be a slightly darker blue than the final
Mhm.
product. Or like it might be made of silver and the final one's is rose gold. I don't know. But I have a couple of pre-productions from a D23 set,
And so
but
those
this,
are like lower LEs, harder to find.
yeah, there's usually about like the general consensus is like 3 to 5 for pre-productions and like 5 to 15 for artist proofs. So there's only a couple of each of them, and it's because they just need to test it and see what happens.
That's so cool.
This one is my favorite. I'll just do this one real quick and we can move on to universe, I guess. But this is my magic measures pin. So this is a limited edition of 80. So there's only 80 of this Carousel of Progress pin. And I traded heavily for this. I think I traded like $300 for this one. And it
Wow.
is like the single most expensive Carousel of Progress pin that I own. And I think it's my favorite. I love the LE80?
And your most expensive pin, is that the aerial profile?
Absolutely, yes. That aerial profile.
That's a good question. How do you get PPs or APs or like harder to find pins? Do you suggest like trading in person at certain events, or do you go to any Disney sponsored events?
Great question. Pre-productions and artist proofs are really only available at the big August pin event, the big once a year pin event hosted by Disney. So that is here in Florida, where, it used to be in Epcot. Now the last one they moved to a hotel, the Coronado Springs. Um, Coronado Springs, right? I think it was Coronado. But it's a big pin event where they sell, multiple thousands of dollars of tickets to people, and you go and they put up boards for you. It's full boards of pins. And you basically have 30 seconds to walk up to that board and pick what pins you want off of the board. And they refresh it every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes they put new boards up of all artist proof and pre-production pins. And so you can go up and you can trade for any of them. You're not guaranteed to get an artist proof or a pre-production because the people in front of you can put up whatever you want, and you're not allowed to check. You're not allowed to check what it is unless you get lucky and you have a really nice person. But you're not supposed to check. But yeah, you go up to the board, you pick what pins you want, and then you rush out of line and you all compare, like, are these pre-productions or not? So you get some really cool stuff that way. So I've only been to two of these at this point. I had not been into pin trading previously as much as I am now. So
Mm,
I had never gone to a pin event until 2 years ago. And of course, like the other pin event, the 2020 pin event was online because of COVID. 2021 pin event was online because of COVID. One of them was online because of COVID. Um, so I didn't bother going to that one because I was like, what's the point of going to an online pin event? 2 years ago was my first one, which was the Heroes versus Villains event in Epcot. And then
okay.
last year, I went to the One Family pin event at the hotel, and so that was only my second pin event. But it's a great, stressful, fun time. You know, trying to take 30 seconds to scan an entire board and pick two pins is insane, but it's very fun.
That's the one that's similar to the DSSH event that I can say for California. We did something super similar. We had to do the whole 30-second board grabbing.
Right.
I've never been so stressed out in my life, but I did end up with an AP pen.
I
So,
will say your guys' event is more stressful than ours for sure because we are not, they don't like kick you out if you don't pick something in 30 seconds. They're like, okay, your time's up, pick something now. But I have heard that for your guys' DSSH events, it's like if you don't pick, you leave with nothing.
yeah,
And that scares me.
you have to grab something because they think that you're like super analyzing the board. And I don't know if they do it in the Florida one, but they like flip it upside down at DSSH. So like the big head cuties, I grabbed one at the end because I was able to see it, but it was flipped upside down for sure. So they want to confuse you.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. No, they do flip them upside down for ours. But they're not like, it's not all of them that are like, it's not a ton flipped upside down. It's like it's more like they're trying to fit things in. Like you see how I have these kind of stacked like this to get them to
Yeah,
fit all of them? It's like that where they're like, okay, if we can fit another pin by turning it upside down, we'll do it.
that
So,
makes
so then the other half of this board is my Universe of Energy collection. There's not a ton of Universe of Energy pins out there, but one of my favorites is the Universe of Energy cast costume completer. So this is what the cast members used to wear at the Universe of Energy ride. And it's very cool. I love it. It is a completer. And what's so fun and annoying about these is it's never been faked. So fortunately, I have all authentic ones, and that's great. But the unfortunate part is because they're not faked, I don't see them all the time.
oh
So when I find them, I'm like, I need them because I want all of them. So right now, I think I have 14 total. A couple are not on this board. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 on here. I think I have two more in my haul from previous events that I got recently. But I love those. Always looking for those. So if anybody finds any, hit me up at Fins and Pins. But the Universe of Energy WDI ride poster, I actually have two of these. I had considered hoarding this one as well. There are three versions of this pin, one with a red pterodactyl, one with a blue pterodactyl, and one with a pink pterodactyl that I'm still waiting on. And then this, oh, great example actually of a pin that's heavily faked. So this is very heavily faked, but I did pull this at the promotion for the big pin event. And this one is, where's the stamp? Pre-production, top right corner
I
of
do see
the
it.
trading logo. So this one is a pre-production. So fortunately enough, I have an authentic version of the Universe of Energy
That's
ride
sick.
symbol. So that one I was thrilled about. And then I have a couple that aren't on here. One of my favorites I just got is Stitch sitting on top of a dinosaur's head in Universe of Energy.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Whew. All right, where do you want to go next?
Take me back to the Club Penguin area board.
All right, boards, pins. This is This is my Tinkerbell board. If you want to see my little bells.
Do you buy all of your pins or do you do a lot of trading?
I do a little bit of both. So I try to trade. That's my main thing is I would love to trade for pins if I can. Um, but I do buy pins if I have to. Like what's a good example recently of a pin that I bought? Oh, actually on my carousel progress board, the bottom middle-ish, there's like a poster looking pin that
Mm-hmm.
is a WDI pin that I had been looking for a really long time, and I was never able to trade for it. So I finally just spent the money. It was $100, it wasn't that much. So, pin wise, that's not that much. So I finally just said, okay, take my money. I want this pin too bad. But I do a lot
And
of trading.
where do you
Um,
trade?
That's a great question. So, I do a lot of trading at pin events. There are local pin events here in Florida, and I know California has them, New York, Connecticut. They're all over the country. Of people basically just locals who are like, anybody here a pin collector, and anybody want to come trade with me? And we've got monthly events here in Florida. There's I think at this point we're up to like almost three a month. Um, of just people being like, do you want to come trade? Let's go trade. So I go to these events. I have tables at some of them. The other ones I just walk around. The walk around days are for my collection. And then, the ones that I'm sitting at, I try to trade just to be nice to other people. I try and see, people like grails, which are the kind of more expensive pins, the ones you're looking for a lot. So like Disney Employee Center, DEC pins, WDI, Walt Disney Imagineering, and DSSH, Disney Studio Store Hollywood, tend to be, the really hard to find pins for people. So I spend a lot of those events taking the pins that I have and bulk trading them down, which means
Hmm.
taking more small pins for an expensive pin so that somebody can get something they want.
Do you think that it's a lot harder to trade for like WDIs, or do you think there's places that you can get them easier, like that you could suggest to people looking for maybe their grailier pins?
Right. I think it depends on who you're trying to trade with. Because not everybody gets WDIs, DECs. Those are both cast exclusive pins. So you have to work for Disney to get them. Or, I live in Florida, I live near Walt Disney World. There's a lot of people that I know who work for Disney and they like to trade. So they're not very picky on what they trade for. And I tend to be able to trade for a lot of those. But some people who are cast members and are getting these pins are like, I want to try and trade for something I really like. So
Mm.
some people will get those and be like, no, I'm not trading for, it's $100 pin. No, I'm not trading for $10 pins. I want to trade for another $100 pin, which is a perfectly valid form of trading. There's people who do that. I've done that before with other pins that I have. I have a Aristocats film strip that I was telling people I'm not trading it until I get my Ariel because I'd love to trade one for one my Ariel film strip for my Aristocats, which I got my Ariel. So now Aristocats is for bulk trade if anybody wants it. But,
That's
you
really
know,
smart.
right? I definitely do that a lot.
I like those name badges.
Name badges. Oh, my name badges. So, these name badges are cast exclusive. So you have to, work for Walt Disney. These are not the same as like WDI. I see it already. These are not the same as like WDI, DEC, or WDI, yeah, WDI and DEC. These are mystery box pins that cast members can go kind of buy from like their company store. It's like a physical location you can go to. And it is in the shape of a name tag. So this is actually the shape of a Disney employee name tag. And there are an unfortunately high number of sets with Ariel in them. They did an entire set of just Ariel, which I actually have others on a lane, but they did an entire set of like Ariel, King Triton, Max, Eric. I think I have Grimsby and the chef and the eels. They call them the eels, by the way, a little annoying. They only made one of them and they call them the eels. So I have two of them because I need both. But then
Mm.
they did a version of the villain separately with
Okay.
their princess. So that is there's these ones. I think there's Snow White and the Evil Queen and Aurora and Maleficent. So it's like those are another 2-pair set. So this one is from the full set, and then there's the 2-pair set, and then there's another set of princesses with their princes. And I don't think I have that Ariel, unfortunately. But
Not yet.
not
Play
yet.
so.
Not yet. We'll see eventually, someday, hopefully, I will get it.
And then above it, you have a
Infos.
character connection puzzle.
I do have a character connection puzzle. It is in fact complete. I haven't moved I haven't shifted them so I can put in. Oh, there it is. I haven't shifted them so I can put in the 2 completers yet. But I do have the full character connection set. And fortunately for me, again, the reason I would ever have multiples, pre-production on the Ursula puzzle piece there. So let's see. Are there any differences? Yes, there most certainly are. Let's take a look at these, right? So this is the pre-production pulled from the pin event. So this one you can tell she's kind of not super purple. She's more pink. But then this one she's more purple, right? And she
Yeah.
also has paint dips on this one, which is very fun. It is authentic, but she's more dippy on that version. So yeah, what they went with for the puzzle versus what they started with for the puzzle, and then they changed to these color schemes here.
And we're looking at your collection, and it's humongous. Honestly, it's like you just keep pulling out pins and I don't even know where they're coming from anymore. If you were to guesstimate the amount in average of your whole collection in value, where are we guessing you would place your collection at?
Oh man, that's a great question. I don't actually have an answer to that. My we've talked about that I should get this insured because there's so many pins on these boards. So I need insurance for this stuff. Um, but my aerial profile alone is 3,000. So if you're going based off of value and not pure cost, God, I don't know, maybe like I'm just gonna throw a number out and we'll hope it's somewhere close to right. Maybe $200,000.
Wow. Can we see the aerial profile?
We can. I have to find her real quick, but let me go
I was
look.
like, is she locked up?
She is. She's behind glass and she's in a safe. No, she's in the front of my pin book that I don't use anymore. So I have to go find. She hides in a closet, actually. Okay. So this is my front page of my Pinfolio board. So this is when I wear my backpack. This is the backpack that I wear. Is this is what's on it. So this is like most of my Graily Grails. At the point at which I designed this originally, I didn't have Ursula, so I have to move around and get Ursula's cutie on here. Um, but right now I have the full trio of profiles. So there's the elusive $3,000 aerial profile in plastic for a reason.
In
Um,
plastic.
for real, the Ursula profile, which I traded for, and the Eric profile, which was the first profile I traded for. Then we have around the center here. This is what is this? Is this Acme? This is Artland. Haha, see, I know so much about non Disney park pins. Can I get it back to be centered real quick? Sorry. All right. This is my Artland pin. It is like an entire movie poster of Ariel. Lots of details around the edges. You've got like Flotsam and Jetsam around the edge. The contract
Oh,
that
I'm
she signs
obsessed.
being held by tentacles. You've got Flounder, the Triton, some more eels. It's just so much detail, so much detail. And then obviously her facing her beautiful castle. So that's my centerpiece. I have swapped that centerpiece out a couple of times, but this is my current one. Then we have the entire WDI dress set in order. It's organized. It's organized. So we've got her and her tail, beginning of the movie. The first dress she wears out of the water, the sail dress. Ball gown, when she gets found and gets her beautiful first dress. He decides to take her around the town in her beautiful blue dress. She goes to bed and thinks she's going to get engaged and then wakes up to figure out that Vanessa has stole her man's. Then actually this should go this way, but I guess maybe it does. The final dress where she decides she wants to be a human and her dad gives her this beautiful glittery dress. and then her wedding. And then, of course, I do have the wedding crest, my princess howls with Ariel and Flounder, and then my Eric cutie, my Ariel cutie, and my Ursula cutie is on a board somewhere else.
I'm obsessed with your. And so this is, you say that you put it in the front of your backpack. So like it has like a show side in your backpack?
Exactly. So I actually have the backpack next to me because I took it out of the backpack. But this is a GoPin Pro, the Pinfolio show. So this is basically the front. So you go ahead, you take the entire sheet, and you can zip it in there, and it's just a clear plastic front. And then inside, let me actually open it. Can I actually? No, it's zipped. But inside you can put more pins. There's the announcement flyer for the next pin event, actually. The After Dark. It's the last time I used this book, to be honest. But the After Dark pin event. So you can go in here and you put your pin books in there, your pin pages in there. Absolutely love Pinfolio. Fantastic product. You know, plugging them without asking.
I'm obsessed.
Thank you.
Your collection is insane, and I didn't even know about all the sides. I can't even keep track of my own pins. So how do you keep track of like the things that you need?
Oh, not well. Not well is the short answer. I Oh yeah, I don't keep track actually. I will just kind of recognize a pin that I don't have. And
Okay.
so it's like, oh yay, you know, that's one that I need. And that's kind of what happens is I'm just like, oh, I've never seen that before. But then we run into the issue of what's been happening recently on Whatnot for me, where I went through my pin collection and realized I had duplicates of things I didn't know I had. So I've been selling off some of the extra pins that I have because I don't need all of them, you know? I only
Yeah.
need I only need 3 of each. I don't need 4 of each. But my 2 lowest limited edition pins, you know, we talked a little bit about like artist proofs and pre-productions and what that
Mhm.
means for LE size, right? So this is a beautiful unreleased pre-production pin of Ariel and Eric in the Kiss the Girl scene. So this is a mini jumbo. It was supposed to be an LE 500 pin, but they didn't like how dark the coloring was on all the stuff. So it, you know, very, very dark purples, dark blues, her dress is dark, the background's dark. So they didn't like all the dark, so they canceled production on this. So the
Oh
only
wow.
ones that exist are the pre-productions of this pin. So as we said earlier, kind of like 3 to 5 are out there of this one. It's the only one I've ever seen pulled from an August pin event, traded to Pyro Guy who traded it to me. So this is probably my favorite pin. You actually asked me that earlier. This is probably my favorite one because it's one of those. It's so rare. You're not going to see it in somebody else's
Mhm.
collection. I love this one. But then my technical actual lowest LE is this. It is from a frame set, Aerial upper body, and that one is an LE 15. Please focus.
Wow.
LE 15 from a frame set. So that one is my actual like LE stamped. That's my lowest LE.
That's
This one was one that I didn't realize had Universe of Energy in it. That dinosaur back there, that's my Universe of Energy. This was a artist proof. Artist proof pulled at the event that one of my friends of mine traded me because they knew that I needed it. Um, one of my only Disney auctions for my collection. Scuttle's Scuttle's little shop of all the
Wait,
trinkets
you
that
don't
he
have a
sells.
lot of Disney auctions?
No, I don't like Disney auctions.
Why don't you like Disney auctions?
Yeah, let's talk about why I don't like Disney auctions. Okay, so Disney auctions, though beautiful, are pricey. You see that $200 price tag for a Disney auction? I just, you know, $200. There's other pins I'd rather have for $200. There's a lot of beautiful, authentic pins that I could get for $200. And, you know, auctions just don't speak to me the way that WDIs and DECs do. But this one, I was like, Scuttle's, what is that? Scuttle's treasure appraisal? Come on, I have to. I had to get that one. That's just too cool. There's not enough Scuttle pins out there.
I like that one too. I think I enjoy Disney auctions because of like the vintage feel to them, but they definitely are a hit and miss. didn't plan out a lot of their pins as well as they could have. Like a lot of the magnets are breaking off and there's like scratches because pins are moving and they didn't account for
Right.
it to be moving and scraping. So I can understand that.
Exactly. See, I just Disney auctions, there's a lot of beautiful, gorgeous, but they're so expensive.
Hmm.
I can't justify that price tag for, no. Um, but hey, I mean, if you want to give me Disney auctions for good deals, I'll take a Disney auction for a good deal. Yeah,
Lunch.
literally. Hey, I mean, I'm always down for Disney auctions for cheap, but I don't expect people to trade Disney auctions for cheap. They're expensive. They're hard to find, you know?
Thank you so much for coming on to my first episode of Frog Talk. I really enjoyed looking at your collection today. I think it's insane. Insane is probably not the right word, but that is the only word that comes to my head because it's crazy.
Insane is definitely probably a good word for it, I'd say. It's it's a lot of pins. I think I have like over 2,000 pins total in my personal collection. So it's definitely insane is a valid word to use, I feel like. So, but I'm so glad you had me on today. I had such a great time. I love showing my pins to people and telling the stories of how I got these pins and what they mean to me. These aren't just everybody says like, "Oh, they're just pieces of metal." They kind of are, but they're not just pieces of metal. All these pins tell stories, and I like telling stories. Story time with Lexi, that's my thing, right? So I love
So
telling
where do we
stories.
get more like of you and more cuz you're so knowledgeable also. Like I just want to give you a lot of credit for that. You have a lot of knowledge of the pins that you have and the pins that like are faked and just all knowledge. So where do we
Thank
get
you.
more fins and pins?
Where do you get more fins and pins? So you can find me at the House of Fins and Pins. That's my house. I do Instagram at
Okay.
fins.and.pins. So periods where the spaces should be. And that's where I post, my haul, a little bit of my collection, a lot of like what I'm going to be doing in my Whatnot shows. So you can find me on Whatnot at Fins and Pins as well, which is where I sell pins. But it's a live streaming platform. So I do a lot of talking about authentics and fakes and scrappers and the fun times that pin trading can be. So if you want to come find me at fins.and.pins and at fins and pins, and I might be making a TikTok and a YouTube. I just don't have those yet, but probably the same fins and pins or fins.and.pins for those.
Well, thank you so much, Finny. I will
Yes,
make sure to plug you up and I hope everyone comes over and continue to see your collection grow.
start maybe.
I don't even know what that's
What's
from.
How do I know what's from?
Carousel of progress and something of energy.
Universe, they're both rides in Florida.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to ask that question